Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining the Realmsmith actual play post-show commentary called Shadowcast. For episode 3, I'm joined by two of my close personal friends now. We're just besties after 3 days in the studio.
I mean, we've been through some shit together,
We
so I feel
went
like that's
through,
fair.
yeah,
Trauma bonding, right?
yep,
Exactly.
Awesome.
yep.
Well, I'm Rem Alternis. I'm the community and marketing director for Catalyst Game Labs, and I'm joined by Luis Carazo and Anjali Bhimani. What do you guys do?
You go first, Anjali.
I walk my dog and I drink coffee. What do I do? What do I actually do? I pretend to be other people for a living. Hi guys, I play Trigger on the show and I play a bunch of other things in the rest of my career.
Awesome.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. And I do spend a lot of time with my dog.
Hi everyone, I'm Luis Carazo. Pretty much same thing. I eat a lot of all you can eat stuff.
He does.
All you can eat restaurants.
I feel like I can vouch for this because I live vicariously through you whenever we're together.
Yeah,
I'm like, I just want to.
Me eat.
I don't know where it goes, but
my favorite is all you can eat sushi. So what else do you all you can eat whenever you can?
There's all you can eat Korean barbecue, shabu shabu. Those are the things that we do: sushi, shabu shabu, and Korean or Japanese barbecue.
Awesome.
All right, so it's still relatively light. All right. So glad that this applies so hardcore to Shadowrun. Hey,
right?
Sushi probably still. No, it doesn't. Does it? Ain't nobody eating sushi.
They're eating soy.
They're eating soy sushi. Soy.
Last episode we had the noodle shop, the AR noodle shop. So
yes, but it's not real noodles.
I know.
No.
You'd have to just chew and
pretend
nothing would happen.
Fantasize.
No.
Man.
Well, we talked last week a ton about the Matrix because it was a Matrix heavy episode. This week we had quite a bit of magic happen. So, it just works out perfectly that our Rigger and Decker are on for the magic conversation. I mean,
the two people who know the least about magic. Excellent.
Today will be your lecture will be about the astral realm.
Amazing. I'm here to learn.
What we're going to do today.
Take notes.
Our agenda is going to be to talk about magic a little bit, talk about a couple of the things that were roles that we made during the game that and what they mean, how they're done, explain it a little bit. And then we're going to talk about the big grenade moment with the ghouls and the vampires. And from there, we had a little bit of deep diving into our feelings at the end of the show. And it's something that you guys really did well and brought to life and pushed these characters forward. So I'd love to talk to you guys a little bit about that and bringing life into these games. And finally, we're going to answer any questions that pop up in the chat in the meantime. So we're going to roll here. So magic in the sixth world. So we have magic kind of enters, I think, Jason Hardy's in the chat, like 2012-ish or something like that, 2019 maybe. Magic is, quote, re-released into the world. Dragons are here now. There's mythical creatures. There's some of humanity finds that they have powers they didn't have before, and they're able to manipulate mana and even see and travel in a parallel plane of existence known as the astral realm. So we kind of explained last week what the Matrix looks like. What the astral looks like is very different. So when Blaze kind of does his astral vision, he has the ability as an awakened metahuman to not only peer into the astral, but to leave his meat suit, as Frayne calls it, behind and travel in the astral. And you can move through the astral at the speed of thought. So one of my favorite things to do in when I play a mage is when we're doing legwork and we need to scope out a facility, I kind of just zoom through the entire building or area to be like, how many people are there? What are their intentions? Are there any spirits? Any awakened? All of that stuff. Now, the astral realm itself is very dark and dim. Physical objects just appear as like shadowy figures. Like it's almost like moving around in the dark, like gray blobs everywhere. You can't even see through windows. Anything that's physical is just a barrier in the astral. Where it comes to life is through life. So through spirits, through metahumans' auras, and creatures' auras, to be able to see who you are and the truest representation of you. So, you may be gruff exterior and cranky and stuff like that, but maybe you are like the most beautiful being in the astral, because that's who you are. You can also read moods and agendas. You can also see not the specific type of cyberware, but you could see gaps. So if you imagine a person glowing, like my spotlight is on me now, but then you see darkened areas like around the eyes or so
I'm exactly opposite in the astral world. In the astral world, my really bright yellow eye that we see on the show would be like a black hole.
Dark.
Yep.
So it's like seeing dark matter.
Yeah.
Represented. So
when you have a metahuman that has so much cyberware in them that their essence, their humanity is, you start your humanity, everyone starts at 6, but the more cyberware you get, it can go down to like 0.1, and you might not even see any life force at all in that, because they're so cybered up. They've lost that humanity.
Yikes.
So
I think there is I don't remember. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I'm pretty sure there is at least one player in this game, guest or otherwise, who happens to be very close.
Yeah.
Which is exciting when that happens. Yep. You guys, I'm trying to tease stuff without being. Yeah. I'm trying to entice you all. I'm trying to entice you all to come see the show. Come watch Shadowrun and learn. Who's the one who's 0.1000001%?
Negative two.
Yes, exactly.
So how you role play, that can affect, if you have 3 essence, maybe what parts of you, what are you a little less sensitive about? Maybe when we're having those close moments, maybe there's a reason other than just being strangers that have met for the first time, that Frayne is like, guys, like, we just met, I'm not talking about this crap. Like, right. that lack of empathy maybe has a reason behind it that's more than just social.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very, very cool. And also secrets.
It's so I kind of like what Anjali had mentioned earlier. We're the 2 tech heavy characters, but what's always fascinated me about the Shadowrun setting is like there's these sort of 3 parallel planes. There's the I guess the real world, and then there's the the Matrix that's been constructed, but then there's this astral magical realm that's been there the whole time. That's been running parallel, and to me it always seems like that's the purest, the most ancient, the most I don't know, like primal of the planes, and it makes me want to play a magic user.
They're my favorite game. They're very hard to play.
It makes me want to. It makes me want to play. I mean, is there a person who is an amalgam of the 2 who can do both? Is that what Liv's character is? Can she do both, or only mages?
She cannot. You have access to either the resonance or magic, or neither.
Okay.
Now, what you could do though, as a technomancer, based on your backstory, you could, for whatever reason, decide to get implants, but that's going to affect how strong you are as a technomancer.
Right.
Maybe you don't want to be a technomancer. Maybe you were born into that and you don't like it, and so you're trying to change it about yourself so that you diminish that power.
I just want to play on the astral plane and also play. I want it all. I want to play in the Matrix, and I want to play on the astral plane.
Awesome.
This is true.
So spellcasting. Let's go a little bit into spellcasting. So you have a magic attribute as a spellcaster, and you get to choose or learn your spells. Now, when we play Anarchy, you can choose those spells at character creation, but as you go through 6th World, there are books and books and books of spells that you could choose that have a whole bunch of different schools. We saw invisibility today, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. One of the aspects of invisibility in Shadowrun is an enhanced invisibility spell that's called improved invisibility. That means not even cameras can pick you up.
Ooh.
So it's not even just humans can't see you, cameras can't see you either. And
like even infrared and all of that stuff, nothing.
Right. And there's different types of vision. Like your cyber eye that you have could have dark vision. It could have thermographic vision, so you can see heat signatures. So there's all different kinds of things and technical things that maybe you want to find a way around the use of magic to be sneakier or faster or stronger.
Yeah. I definitely use that as part of Trigger's, you know, her what's the word that I'm looking for? Inferiority complex that comes out in, you know, like I definitely feel like that's such a big part of her as a character, is that the only thing she has to offer is her technical prowess, but she wishes she had all of the other things. She wishes she was smarter. She wishes she was bigger. She wishes she had magic. She's annoyed that Liv can just be the lock. I have to hack into the lock. You know, there's just that sense of being stuck in that world, being really good at it.
Yeah.
And probably having more bravado than she needs to have. But it's also fun. It's also fun totally being a cocky fucker.
I mean, so there's a couple things I want to say. The first thing I want to say, Rem, is just just to clarify. When you say human, you mean like not that humans can't see it. You mean all humanoids,
metahumans,
like, all metahumans.
Yep.
And I just got to say, like, Anjali, the way that you lean into the inferiority complex and all the parts of Trigger that are like the cracks in the person is so good. And, I mean, like,
Charlie, don't be scared, buddy. It's okay. I didn't mean to make a loud noise. Come here, buddy. Yeah, I scared the pupper.
I mean, everyone, we're literally just getting started. We were talking about, wow, this is episode 3, and kind of going over the things that happen in the next one and the one after that, and oh my gosh, there's so much ground that gets covered in terms of seeing how like cracked all of these people are, and like I feel like I was able to lean into what I leaned into because I saw how far you leaned into what you were leaning into, and it just was so cool to have in the back of my head the reminder of, in this world, in Shadowrun, these aren't heroes like you are playing in other systems. This world is messed up, and we're a product of that world.
You're all broken.
And it's
in some way or another, or bent.
It is, yeah, definitely. And I think that speaks to something that happens. Those words, I think, happen in the series in some way, shape, or form, if I recall correctly. But it's still just like fascinating to me, again, to have these parallel worlds. You have the real world where all of that is colliding together. Then you have the Matrix that has all. To me, the Matrix is created as a means to an end, and the astral plane is. I think we both, Anjali, I think you and I both have a desire to like dive into the astral plane because it feels untainted by.
Well, it also feels
Shadowrun.
It also feels much more secret. The Matrix is accessible if you know how to access it. The astral plane feels accessible only if you have that magic power, which is not something you can just develop, as far as I understand from the rules. Correct. You have to either have it or you don't, which means that most of the population do not have access to it. Anyone can train themselves and get themselves into the Matrix. Yeah. And going back to what you were talking about the role play and about being able to lean into the flaws in our characters, because boy, oh boy, do we do that even more in the next episode and the next. One of the big things that I love about this setting and that I love about this system is that it opens up the opportunity for your flaws to be a giant boost to the storytelling. Because it's so easy when you're playing a TTRPG, it's so easy to think, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do the thing and I'm going to do the mission and we're going to win D&D and we're going to do like, you know what I mean? Like we're going to get in there and we're going to do it right. And we're going to roll all the big rolls. And the more I play all sorts of games, the more I realize in the storytelling process, because that's really all the games are, is a mechanic for story. The more I realize how those flaws and how those flaws become much more of a creative mine for what the story can be. Oof. And for how all of the characters can connect or disconnect or end up in huge conflict with each other, which is a blessing as well when that comes up. And I think a lot of times we're all scared to fail. Talk about a life lesson. We get so scared to fail. We think we have to do it right. We think we have to do the thing. We have to do the big roles. But when you're leaning into the flaws and seeing how it makes the story better or how it enables someone else to tell a bigger story and you watch them shine, that's really, really, really satisfying. Being able to set up your fellow characters for them to tell their story through your failing. Like that's a really great moment.
Does an incredible job of that. And especially with an 8-episode series, because we knew this was going to be 8 episodes going in. You know, you sit at a home game and there may be the moment where someone gives a dirty look or something like that. And you're like, that's weird. And you let it go and you let it kind of repeat itself a couple times before you confront it. We didn't have time. Yeah. And you guys did a really great job of like, you know, Luis Frayne is like, don't lie to me. Like that was a lie. He's not okay. He's clearly not okay. And you didn't let the cough. He didn't get one free cough. You nailed him on that cough.
Look, I just want people to watch the next episode and see how that unfolds.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say to that. Like, I will, if I can, I'll say this. This doesn't give anything away. When you know that people at the table are listening, and are there to contribute to a story. There's a kind of freedom that I feel like it gives me to call somebody out, like how I think I would in the moment if I were there and I were embodying this perspective. It helps me follow my impulses, no matter what they are. And knowing that, like, you're playing a game, you know, you're going to throw something, grenades. We're talking about grenades. It's like you're releasing the pin and you're throwing the grenade at somebody, but you know they're going to catch it and throw it right back at you. And so, I mean, I'm just saying that that thread continues. And we do kind of like set each other up in ways where I can say this for sure. It's speaking from my own experience that I definitely set the ball up so someone can spike it right back to me in my face, knowing that they would, and that's the kind of trust in the dynamic that we have. I don't know. I mean,
there you have a moment. I remember you talking about this. Sorry to cut you off, but there's a moment in the next episode where after we cut the cameras, you were like, "Oh, I really wanted you guys to hear that and do this, and you did it, and I'm so glad you did because I wasn't sure if anyone was going to catch it." And it's those moments as a storyteller that are so exciting because you really are trying to help each other create this multifaceted thing that just wouldn't have existed if you wrote it yourself or if one person wrote it or even if anyone had written it, because it only exists because you are improvising it in the moment and because you're paying attention to each other, and you're not looking to like win or be the star or any of those things. You're looking to tell the story, and when are the times that you have to back off because other people's stories are bigger. And you know, there were definitely many moments in this whole series where I wanted to take steps back and be like, these stories are way more important than anything Trigger could say in this moment. So just sit back and watch. I'm sorry I cut you off, honey.
Oh no. I mean, I feel like the excitement that we both are having right now is because we know the trajectory of the story,
Yeah.
and I just want more.
Yeah.
Just like there's a lot that we do together with everyone else there too that I'm really proud of, and I'm really really happy to share it with all of you, and I'm glad that you're here. And I mean, I just can't wait to do more of it and to share with everybody else where we go with such a short amount of time. I mean, cumulatively, the episodes are about 2 hours long each, right?
Yeah.
That means it's like 16 hours
Oof.
of storytelling. And I've done shorter episodes of stuff that have had more hours per episode that were longer. And so uh, it's, I mean, I'm just gonna just keep ranting because I love this thing. I love the people that we did it with. I love the setting. I love the stories that the setting asked us to lean into, and that we, we also made sure, because I remember, Anjali, even in like our session 0, you were, very clear with checking in about the kind of character that you were playing, and some of what caused Trigger to be Trigger. And we were like, hell yeah, give me all those triggers.
Yeah, because you do want to check in, obviously, and this. I hope this goes without saying, but I think it's important for anyone who is just starting out in their TTRPG real life adventure and they're starting at new tables. It really, really, really matters how much you check in with each other and how much you let each other know this is a story. We are building a story, and everyone needs to feel safe. Everyone needs to feel respected. Everyone needs to feel valued. Everyone needs to know that there is give and take. And if you're playing an asshole, everyone needs to know you are playing an asshole, not being an asshole. And you need to be responsible for making sure that you are not crossing that line as you do.
Yeah.
Well, and taking the time, if you've got a home game, the night ends, everyone packs up and leaves and doesn't really say anything about the game. Talk about the game. Like, this is for you. You're all doing this and bonding together and having an adventure and storytelling together. How do you feel about it? Is it the story you were hoping to tell, and why or why not? How many sessions do you leave feeling mad or disappointed or whatever because something's wrong in communication, if that's the case?
I want to add to that too, because I know, like, just because we know where we're heading. So Anjali and I, Trigger and Frayne, by the end of today's episode, there's a trajectory that unfolds between the two of us that at times is very antagonistic, but really exciting. However, like what Anjali was saying, that we definitely checked in and made sure that we were all on board and checking in with each other before, and during breaks and afterwards. And I will say that no matter how far you and the table, it's not just us checking in with each other, because everybody at the table who's there witnessing it needs to be excited by that kind of unfolding story and dynamic.
Yeah.
I would, because it's not just between the two of us, because Anjali and I can go toe to toe. Like, we can go there, but the second someone else is at the table and they don't even want to necessarily witness that, we will absolutely adapt and adjust accordingly. But with all that said, your characters have to have a reason to want to stay around each other. You cannot go so far to where you undermine their need to stick together. And they can be as flawed and damaged, and they could be projecting, they could be doing all of the, unhealthy psychological things that we know to not necessarily embody in life, but are exciting for some of us to explore in story. They can embody all of that, but still you have to find a reason and a need underneath it all that they may not even totally be aware of, but you as the player have to understand that as a part of the drive that makes them need to still be around the other person. And I will say, I know for sure, even though Frayne, I don't think totally understands, I know exactly why Frayne is going to stick by Trigger's side. That I know,
and vice versa. I know why.
Frayne may or may not know, and may or may not start to learn it through this season. Uh, but I think he does, and I'm not going to say more to that because that whole roller coaster.
Still, yeah, we're so excited, and we're doing that thing where I'm like, no spoilers, and then we're like, spoilers. Oh, but we're just like treading the line of it because we're so excited about it, and we're excited for you guys to experience it.
Let me ask you guys, because I kind of forgot that this is an interview, and I was like just letting you guys go and fangirling as you guys talk about acting and sitting at a role play table. You touched on a couple of points, but you've both played a lot of TTRPGs at this point, done similar things. What makes Shadowrun different? I got to watch you guys fall in love with the game I love so much. Why? What was it about it that makes it different than the others?
A few things for me. One, it's a much darker, well, I shouldn't say it's darker than any of the universes I've played in because Outbreak Undead is pretty dark. There is that sort of Blade Runner, not so distant future, this could be us in 10 years if we're not careful, that kind of thing, presents both an opportunity for, again, like those flaws and playing that we're all cockroaches just trying to survive feeling, while also providing this, how do I say this? Like, just the fact that the Matrix exists in this, creates that middle ground between straight up magic and stuff that you can do in real life. You know, if you're doing zombie apocalypse horror and you're just playing human beings, and you're doing stuff that you can do. If you're playing fantasy TTRPGs, you're playing stuff that, like, big stuff, that have big fireballs and all these things. But somewhere in the middle is that enhanced reality. And or as we say it in the game, augmented reality. And that is a very exciting and unique and scary place to play, because there is a sense of, ooh, this could be tomorrow. Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. Let me both lean into that and be slightly terrified of it. How would I live in this world? Would I still be a good person that I liked? Would I have to make changes to who I am, or make choices that I don't agree with? Like, that kind of, those kinds of questions are very exciting to me.
You said, like, verbatim things that I was going to say, talking about Outbreak Undead and how it's like,
oh, that's right, because we both played a ton of that.
Yeah, you're still confined to the limitations of what a human being can or cannot do. And then in these sort of complete fantasies, they are complete fantasies. And then you have I love that. I'm going to write that down somewhere. This enhanced reality, because that's so specific to it. It to me, this setting, because it is in the future, but not, like a generation and a half or 2 generations away. And it does have some fantasy elements to it, but this sort of like futuristic, dark, like cyber aspect of it, to me, it almost feels like it's like a cautionary tale. It's like we're playing through the dark version of this history where the fantasy elements can't save you.
Yeah.
You gotta make
the
better
big one,
choices.
right?
Yeah.
That's the big one. Is that sense of like, okay, yeah, there's no like resurrection. There's no like cure light wounds. There's no, I mean, there are moments where you can fix things and heal things in a way that we can't necessarily in our real world. But there definitely is a sense of, oh no, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like you're going down. And so choose wisely.
Because there's real danger.
Yeah. Yep. There's real danger and there's real darkness. And even amidst that darkness, there is so much levity.
Yeah.
There is so much, because real life, normal, quote unquote life is going on while all these Shadowrunners are navigating the seedy underbelly of the world. And Nora's character, Liv is such a great character, in my opinion, for that very reason, because she, to me, is our closest link to what it would have been had she had a quote unquote normal life. What would she have been? What would it have been like? And she plays it so beautiful with such, there's just this openness and eagerness both to learn her character that she portrays in her character, this just like this openness that has been thrown into this world of shadow running, more than the rest of us who are like, life's tough, baby, get on board. And I love that so much, that we have that eye into it. Because I don't know that I've played any TTRPG where I had someone who was so distinctly in both worlds that way.
Neat. Yeah. I love that element. I love what you say about, the dystopian future that's so similar to our own and could happen. Shadowrun next year's the 35th anniversary, and we're writing 60 years in the future, and a lot of the stuff that has been written has happened.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that whole 2011, 2012 magic started showing up. It could be here and we just don't know about it. It's entirely possible.
I want my powers and my elf ears. Okay.
I'm still waiting for them.
I'm okay without the elf ears. I'm good.
One of the things that's
pronounced enough.
That's very appealing to me as well is, yes, you have it happens in our world. So it makes it an RPG and that role-playing experience that's close to home and could happen. But also one of the things I love about it is it is cyberpunk. So it is identifying the dystopian elements. It is identifying, that Torin has his own goals in mind, and so does Bitbucket, and so does the unnamed mega corporation that's after you. And like, you look around our own world at Disney and Amazon and so on, and how far off are we to that? But what I love about the punk element is it lets you make the choice to be subversive in your actions.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you find out that Mr. Johnson wants this information that could hurt a lot of people? Do you go through with the job, or do you torch the data? Like, what do? You could make those decisions that can make the world a better place or get you paid and help you eat another day. So what's it going to be?
Oof, yeah, tough decisions. That's the game, is tough decisions.
That's
and you guys really picked the perfect place to shoot it too. Like, that tiny room contained so much in it. I don't think I would have wanted to shoot on a bigger set. Like, I loved the compression that we felt in there. I loved that feeling.
It was a gorgeous room, a gorgeous set, and Jason and Joel picked it out. Like,
they did such a great job.
I still wonder how, like, do you just Google cyberpunk space shooting sets?
Blade Runner look-alike. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, just gorgeous set. The cast could not have been better. And I love, for me, watching you guys on set and watching it again, episode 1 is a fight. So it's a lot of rules and it's a lot of chaos and stuff like that. Episode 2, I think you guys are getting into legwork of like, okay, well, where do we start solving this mystery, and where do we go? And I guess let's go shopping. And then this episode,
Joel,
this
episode so good.
Felt like good. You guys were in your stride, where it was like, okay, we have an agenda, we know where we're going, we know what we're doing. We're gonna choose whether to be sneaky or fight. We're gonna, like, we know where we're going, and we're collaborating as a group. So and then the beautiful role play moments that were just like my gauge, and I didn't even know I was doing it the first couple episodes, was sitting in the studio. You guys, one of you would start to say something, or when Rio would yell, when he yells, like, everyone pays attention. I would stand up and walk closer to the set off camera and just like watch you guys back and forth, because I was like, I'm in, what's going to happen? Like, so really just beautiful job. As you guys put this together, I couldn't have asked for a better representation.
Well, thank you for being the most incredible tour guide we could have asked for, because all of us came here not knowing what to do with ourselves. I even told Luis at the beginning, I was like, Trigger's going to have amnesia because I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm really glad, though, too. Like, Jason and I, so if for our viewers, we did a Session 0 live at San Diego Comic-Con, and we played Sixth World. So Shadowrun is known for being a complex or crunchy rule system. And I think we got together for brunch like 2 hours before the show and was like, great, learn Shadowrun. So, which just can't be done. So, I tried to help through the rules, but as Jason Azevedo and I talked about it after that session 0. We were like, what are we really trying to do here? And our goal is to bring a new generation into Shadowrun. And the best way to do that is tell a story.
Yeah.
What is the setting? Who are these characters? Why do we care? And if people watch that and fall in love with it, the rule systems will come. But let's just get you into the game and into the world. And so Shadowrun Anarchy was our choice for that.
And what's cool is that sorry, go ahead.
It could spawn some new supportive products in the future for new gamers as well.
Absolutely. I think what's cool about the accessibility of Anarchy and how you guys put it together for this particular show is we did start out with an episode that was all battle. So for those people who do want to come into a game and are like, screw it, I don't really care about telling a story, I just want to do the thing, that is available to you. But showing people that this is also available in this game system has been really, really fun, because I think when people see lots of books and they see crunchy mechanics, and I know I do, my eyes cross and I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to make this up as I go along and someone's going to tell me because it's an open book test. So I love that you have the opportunity for both. I love that you have the opportunity to be a complete novice player, and you have the opportunity to be someone who is really super in the weeds with all the rules and playing, playing the game like it's a Stradivarius and you can use all the different notes.
Well, and one of the things too that you said to me, Anjali, on set was that you had heard Shadowrun was super crunchy, and so you had no interest in it. And I'm like, but love. And so the fact that we can make it accessible, the fact that we can show that these are new players to Shadowrun, yes, experienced role players so far, but the fact that you can sit down and play it and tell a story together cohesively is it's accessible.
Yeah.
I had never read the rule book before the plane ride to San Diego. I'm into the lore and the stories and the characters, and like, tell me how many dice to roll, and that's my style of play. Yeah. But I was like, oh gosh, okay, I guess I need to be the expert. Here we go. So the fact that you can do that and make it accessible for yourself in whatever way you need. And even today's episode, there's a couple of the rules. I take notes during them. There's a couple of the rules that we didn't get quite right, but you know what? We're telling a story, and that's okay.
And that happens in every game.
Every game.
Every game. Yeah. Look, everybody, spiritual weapon is not a concentration spell. You know what I mean? But that and that's a rule I get wrong. And I say that because I've had to remind myself of that in game. You know what I mean? It's like there referencing other more popular systems, but still, you know what I mean? Like it's there to provide the playground, but it's a role-playing game, not a rules system with some role-playing.
Exactly. And it's even in the rule book. In the introduction in the Anarchy book, which I loved so much, is that he writes about how I love this system, I love the games, but I want to show people that this can be inviting and easier, and I want to make this so that you realize you don't have to be stuck in a book for 24 months to try to figure out how to play this game. If you want to, jump on in. It is there for you. It is available. They've done the work for you. But ultimately, the goal is for everyone to have a good time, because it's a game. Whatever a good time means to you, you know what a good time means to us. After watching this show, you may be wondering why that means a good time to us. I'm like, oh, you guys are weird. That was a good time. Congratulations.
It was a great time.
A fantastic time. I'm emotionally drained, but yeah. Actors. But being able to explore all of those options is really very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Man.
Well, we only have a few minutes left. Is there anything else you guys would like to share about your experience?
You were trying to share something. Go.
I just wanted to bring it back to Christian and Rio and that motherfucker and his. We were talking about with grenades, and there's the grenade move that Rio does at the end of this episode, and I just want to shout to just give some praise to Christian. I mean, Anjali and I already separately on our own texting each other talk about how much we adore this guy and how fantastic he is, and the big moves that he's willing to make, so that we beautifully get to deal with possible consequences from it. And god damn, the biggest heart I've ever known is in this person. Like it's you know, I mean, he blows up a vampire,
Yeah.
As you do.
and you know,
Yeah, I immediately after telling all of us to be cool, I might add,
cool.
hey everybody, be
until I
cool.
wasn't.
I'm gonna blow up a vampire.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You each bring something so different to the table. Like, Anjali, gosh, you talked to you for 5 minutes. Like, I remember at one point you were like, hey, will you do something for me? And I'm like, I will do anything for you.
You did. You were so sweet. You said that to me, and I was like, be careful what you wish for.
Whereas Luis,
look out.
like, you sat down at the table at that lunch before San Diego Comic-Con and had like 20 minutes of backstory for us. And I'm like, this guy gets it. And then Christian, he's so soft-spoken. And I had that moment at the beginning where I'm like, are people going to be able to hear him? Or like, is he going to have moments to shine, or is he going to be overshadowed? Nope.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude got it.
We both knew better.
Oh yeah.
Dude has it.
We've seen him in action.
Yeah, we seen him.
And for me, like, coming in, you know, I really respect the work that you guys do and stuff, and all of the actors that are stepping into the TTRPG industry and stuff, but I don't follow a lot. Like, when everything in me should love Critical Role, but when I hear about like 422 episodes that are 4 hours long each, my anxiety spikes, and I'm like, I don't have time for a new relationship. So I haven't gotten to watch as much and see you guys in action. And so coming into this, it was like, all right, let's see who we've got here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the table I want to bring to my home games forever and ever and ever.
Oh, well, thank you.
you.
I think it's lovely that we have the option of both these bite-sized series. You know, Critical Role has their three chapter series that both of us have done. 3 episodes. And then we've got something like this, which is 8 or 9 if you count our session 0. And then you have long-term games. It just shows the variability and the options that we all have with the storytelling, that it can really work in so many different formats.
If I can add, and I already know Anjali's going to agree. If I may speak for us, having played in multiple different settings in the Dungeons and Dragons world, in Outbreak Undead, in Candela Obscura, in lots of these different worlds, these systems, the system and the setting can, to a great extent, define the experience that you and the people at the table are going to have. It's meant to provide the framework within which you experience the story and each other within the story. There's something about this Shadowrun thing that it scratches an itch, man. It scratches a real itch for us, for me. And I don't want to play this game without you, Anjali. So if I'm going to keep playing,
no,
this
we're
game,
stuck.
You're just gonna come.
We're totally stuck. That's it. We well, someone responded to our post today about this episode, and I tagged you and I said, I think we found our new relationship for Shadowrun.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So, but going back to what the itch that it scratches, I know for me, I came in to this experience being like, you know what? I just want to play a punk. I want to play someone who doesn't know what they're doing, someone who is a hot mess, someone who is good at things, but also really bad at things, someone who makes mistakes. I want the pressure to be off, to be the leader, to be the smart one, even though in the beginning it's put on Trigger. That becomes a thing that she then uses as a flaw. Like, I wanted the opportunity, and because of the setting, it was something that we could really take and run with, because this setting, I feel like this setting rewards fuck ups. You screw up. Sorry, I've cursed so much on this, and it's still not as much as I cursed in that very first episode. This setting rewards you for letting yourself fail, for letting yourself be ugly or gritty or whatever it is, the things that you maybe don't want to show in real life, but feel like, I feel like this is probably a very cathartic universe to play in as well, because there's a lot of stuff that we don't like to show, that we all try to, mitigate, and we try to not necessarily allow outside of ourselves. But heck, you can do whatever you want in Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are the criminals, but it doesn't mean you're the bad guys.
Oh yeah.
And I love that.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's what it is.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we do have one question in the chat, and then we're going to say goodbye for the evening. From Turbo Turtle, is it hard shifting gears from one game system to another?
No, I don't think so.
I
mean, go ahead. You go ahead.
I actually did exactly that. After Shadowrun, I went up to do Seattle, to start Seattle by Night with a live show at PAX West. So it went from finishing Shadowrun to really quickly turning around and playing in the World of Darkness, but at a very specific table up with, Penny Arcade folks. And it is... I actually was like, there was a moment where I needed to make sure I wasn't going to take any of the Shadowrun with me into that. And it was, if you're a player, if you're a gamer, you're going to sit down with the game and you're going to let the game take you where the game is going to take you. And the parameters are there. The world, so God, I hope I'm saying this right. I'm going to not try to be too long-winded with it. If you think about it, there's so many people that already put so much effort in creating such a rich and vibrant world that has something to say, that has a point of view. And if you just take a moment to sit down and let that pull you into that other world, it's going to take you. So to answer the question is, if ever you feel like you're going from one system to another and you're worried about that transition, just slow down and show up to the system that you're stepping into and let it pull you in. It has already had so many wonderful creatives do so much of the legwork for you. Just let the lore of that other world pull at you. You will step into it, you will inhabit that, and you will be a person in that world.
Amazing.
That. I'm just going to say that when he just said exactly that.
We have one more question that popped up. You guys up for it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, I have to send some love to you from Julia in chat.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, Julia.
And what has been your favorite moment on the table so far? So up to episode 3.
Can I count session 0?
Sure.
My favorite moment in session 0 was getting to say to Frayne, so wait a minute, let me get this straight. Do you think it's more important to be useful than smart? Because I need to know this for our future relationship.
Oh, what did I say in response to that?
I think you were like, well, I want to be useful, because the way he had played Frayne early on in session 0 was much more of like a people pleaser. Like he really just wanted to fit in. He was really sweet. And I, being the asshole that I am, both in real life and as Trigger, just really poked at that. I just really wanted to poke at that and be like, ooh, who's the squishy thing? And that was a very satisfying moment. So I know it's weird to pick one of your own moments, but it's a very satisfying moment because he teed it up. He teed it up without even recognizing that he teed it up.
And the through line of that, as it continues to play out, is pretty crazy. The one thing I knew about Frayne early on is that he doesn't know exactly who he is and might mirror the behavior of the people that are most closely around him. And there's a bravado with Outlaw that in the beginning, him being his primary person, I think Frayne always wanted to have a piece of. The kind of charismatic bravado. And there's other aspects. I'll just say there's aspects of people at the table that might influence who he continues to become.
Cool.
For whether he's completely aware of it or not.
What's your favorite moment?
I can't talk about it yet because it's
not there yet. Oh, no, that's definitely not my favorite moment in the series. That's just my favorite moment so far. No, there are definitely, my favorite moments in the series are yet to come.
I got a moment that I talk to people who don't even do the stuff that we do, and I talk to them about something that Anjali does, and it's around the corner. So just know that there's stuff that's coming up that I'm super excited about, and I'm always bragging about the people that I'm sharing the table with because they all blow my mind. It's stuff in terms of stuff that has happened already. Always impressed with the way how clever Nora is and some of the stuff that Nora does, like the geckoing on stuff
That was so great.
I was like, what? I want to, it just, I make a mental note of some of the way she describes things.
She geckoed and she lassoed a drone, right?
Yes. She lassoed a drone.
Whatever. Just your average Tuesday.
Just your average Tuesday. So there's things that I'm watching at the table, like as they unfold at the table, I'm like, oh, and I make mental notes. I'm like, oh man, I got to remember, like you're always learning from the people around you. There's tendencies that I know that I have, but I'm also watching and admiring things that other people are doing at the table and allowing that to expand the choices that I might make down the road, or even influence a character in a future thing. So I just remember how she describes like the physical maneuvers that she does, and kind of out of the box actions that she does is really cool.
Yeah, she's
Awesome.
Echoing.
blessing. What's your favorite, Rem, so far?
Whew. I love the ghoul scene. I knew it was coming. And I know, like, for me, who's played against ghouls, that they are terrifying.
Yeah.
Things that like, these were former humans that got infected by something and morphed into cannibals that are living in the darkness and stuff like that. They are another thing that didn't come up, but they're dual natured, which means they can see both in the astral and the physical. So invisibility doesn't work on them.
It did come up.
Did it?
I mean, it didn't come up specifically. The explanation didn't come up why. But he said there was a moment when Nora was invisible.
Right.
And
they saw her.
Yep.
And she was like, but I'm invisible. And he was like, no, you're not. Well, you are, but doesn't matter.
So like, they are super scary. And I think that scene is probably my favorite scene so far. But the moment that got me, and it got me again tonight, even though I knew it was coming, when they're like, when Rio's like, I'll throw it, I'll blow us all up, and they're like, we'll survive, but will you? And he goes, boom, and like my jaw, like,
guess we'll find out.
Every time I'm like, so like the fact that it got that reaction out of me again, where you guys can still surprise me in a game like this, I loved that. That was a great moment.
I love that Jason is in the chat. Hi, Jason. And he did point out, I think this is, if we're not counting session 0 or even counting session 0, this is an exceptional one, is when we were all like, everybody's opening their hearts and talking about family. And you're like, well, I can't call you my family. I'm just going to call it straight out. Like, like that moment of reality, because the fact is these people have spent like one day together. And yes, like, you can feel that trauma bonding in real life, but I love, and I hope I'm speaking for Jason accurately, love that you just went straight in and been like, crash shenanigans. That's kind of what I would probably feel in real life. Although I might not say it, I would definitely feel it.
Well, I love it too, because in D&D even, I feel that a lot, where it's like, we are around the campfire for my long rest, and I'm going to give you my entire life's backstory. And it's like, what? I don't know you. I don't want
exactly. I don't know you. We're just bunking in this safe house together.
Can we just get to the next city?
I don't even know your last name. Like, what the hell?
I love that moment got brought up, because I think
good call, Jason. Good call. Good call.
I mean, I will say that I gotta say that there's something to the setting itself. If we were playing a different game, I don't know if I would have made that same choice. No. And if I were playing with different people, I don't know if I would either. There's two things that I know contributed to me being able to follow that impulse, which is I know the table that I'm playing with is going to respond to it. And I know, and there's just something about the setting
Mm-hmm.
that is giving me permission to yes and with a no but.
Yes. Yes. What a
That may-
great way. It makes perfect sense.
But
It's giving
a
you your no.
synthesis of it.
It's a no filter system.
Yeah.
And also, gosh, I know we're continuing on. I know you said we only have a few minutes.
I know, I'm sorry, guys.
There's another thing we love about the system so much, and I think Luis, you'll agree with me on this one too, is that because it is a no filter system, anytime you're doing any kind of collaborative storytelling like this, there is a give and take, right? You want there to be moments for other people to shine and then moments for this person to shine. But you also, as you're telling a collaborative story that you want people to enjoy as people who are watching, not just us playing, you also are carefully calibrating what the scene needs and doesn't need. Does this scene need another deep, gut-wrenching, heart-ripping moment, or does it need something hilarious, or does it need something that snaps us out of our reverie? What does it need? And those moments, I think there are a lot of great ones throughout the series where you find that balance where it could go too far one way, but then someone snaps it back.
Yeah.
And that again is a testament to the chemistry at the table, I think.
Totally agree. Awesome.
And some people that pop in to play,
It's a secret. It's not a secret. It's not a secret at all. I just realized it's not even remotely close to a secret.
I'm just saying,
some of the people that pop in are
and reverse the energy of something with an incredible lightness and necessary lightness.
Talk more about this person. How great.
Maybe this person might show up in the future. Y'all just got to keep watching and see how it goes.
Some cool cameos. Some people with really brightly colored hair.
Awesome. Well, guys, it's been 2 whole weeks or 3 whole weeks since I've seen you, and I already miss you a ton.
I miss you.
I can't wait to see what this turns into, if it leads to more Shadowrun. Just so the audience knows, the entire cast and crew have already asked when season 2 is.
Yep.
So
but we need you guys to help us make it.
Help us
share,
so
like and share.
Share it, like, comment, click the link that is available on the Realmsmith video that takes you to the online store. Get a copy of the Anarchy book and look through for yourself. The
Anarchy book is really cool.
Yeah, there's so much for you there, and those are direct analytics that we're looking at to prove to the bosses, to Mr. Johnson, that it's to bring this back. So
true.
Thank you both so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason, for being in chat. Both Jasons, Hardy and Azevedo, for bringing to life this world that we now all love so much. So thank you. And until next time, stay safe in the shadows.